So this is IB Math Studies, and we're doing logic, and we're now going to look at truth tables for the OR connective, and more specifically disjunction. And we're going to look at, first of all, the inclusive disjunction. So inclusive disjunction. And we use the V as a symbol for that. So let's assume that we have the same statements that we did in the conjunction video, where we said that P is the statement that it is at least 35 degrees Celsius today. And then Q is the statement that it is Friday. Then, according to the inclusive disjunction, we're looking at the case where at least one of them is true. So if you think back to when we talked about inclusive disjunction to begin with, we said that, for example, you're allowed to bring water or food. So, but with the inclusive disjunction, you're allowed to bring either water or food or both. So it depends on what you want. So when we're doing inclusive disjunction, it means that it could be either this or that or both. So let's look at what that looks like in a truth table. So then we have P and Q. So let's first assume that it is, so we'll draw the disjunction, not inclusive disjunction as well. So let's first assume that it is at least 35 degrees Celsius today. So that's true, that it is at least 35 degrees Celsius today, and it is a Friday. If that is the case, then both of them are true. So then, well, it is at least Friday to 35 degrees Celsius today, or it is Friday, or it is actually both. So in this case, it's both. So then, therefore, the conjunction, not inclusive disjunction, must be true as well. If we then continue and we look at what if the P statement is true, so it is at least 35 degrees Celsius today, but it is not Friday, so then the Q statement is false. Well, according to inclusive disjunction, either is okay as well. So at the moment the P is true, so therefore that is okay. So then the inclusive disjunction must be true. If we're then looking at the case where it is not at least 35 degrees Celsius today, so it's less than 35 degrees Celsius, but it is a Friday, so this is false and this is true, then, well, it is not 35 degrees Celsius, or at least 35 degrees Celsius, but it is a Friday, so then it doesn't have to be both. It could be just either in inclusive disjunction, so then this is true as well, that either or both. But then let's look at the case where it is not 30 or at less than 35 degrees Celsius today, so this is false, and it is not a Friday, so let's say it's a Monday. Then we don't have P, so this is not true, and we do not have Q either, so it's not at least 35 degrees Celsius, and it is not a Friday, so then the inclusive disjunction must be false as well, because that assumes that we get at least one of them to be true. So this is the truth table for inclusive disjunction. What would this look like in a Venn diagram then? So we draw a Venn diagram, and then we draw the two circles for the P statement and the Q statement. So this could, for example, be, it's 37 degrees Celsius, or it's not 90 degrees Celsius probably, but 36, 37, 38, or whatever. So that's P, and then whatever they have in common, that is that it's Friday and it's 35 degrees Celsius. Could be 9 a.m. on a Friday or 7 a.m. on a Friday. As long as it's a Friday, then it's within the Q. And then everything outside the Q is any day that is not a Friday. So an inclusive disjunction includes all of this, but also what they have in common, and when it's just a Friday but it's not at least 35 degrees Celsius. So this is the inclusive disjunction. And in the next video we'll look at the exclusive disjunction.